That's what he's been playing. All right, guys.
Really
Welcome to Thursday Night Modern here at GameSwap in wonderful Mason, Ohio. I am joined here by the insatiable Jonathan Topol.
Can we choose a new adjective
Nope.
besides insatiable?
You only get adjectives that start with I.
Interjectory, inquisitive,
It's just like a-
interesting, imaginative, anything less creepy than insatiable.
So here we have Mark Anliker on Bant Infect and Brent Rogers on Ad Nauseam.
What's a splash in Bant Infect?
So he's mainly blue-green. He gets Noble
I
Hierarch.
hope.
He gets Apostle's Blessing.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm not 100% sure what the white is for.
I'm really
Except I
interested.
do know that there are 2 copies of Hindering Light in his sideboard.
You're gonna have to remember.
I don't know what that card does. I just know he doesn't stop talking about it.
Oh God! Hopefully we just get to see it. How fast do you think Brent's just dead here?
So that's gonna be a question. This is gonna be a lot of just opponents
Staring.
not interacting with each other, but there's no turn 1 infect creature from Mark, so or Noble Hierarch, so that's pretty. I wonder what he kept.
At the same time,
Oh,
though,
there's an
Brent's
opt.
doing
Okay.
nothing. If he doesn't have an early Lotus Bloom or
Well,
a,
so he has a-
Pentad Prism on 2.
Does he have 1 Simian Spirit Guide or 2? I think he has 2 Spirit
Does
Guides in
he?
hand, but no black mana.
Yeah, this doesn't look very good.
He
for
has
Brent
Ad
right now.
Nauseam. I think he has Angel's Grace too.
He does have combo. But if he doesn't draw away to cast those,
Yeah, these are we on mulligans here? No.
I think we are.
Okay, so we're on a mulligan to 6 from Brent, who was hoping he would draw cantrips into like the rest of his deck because it's about what he needs right now.
Brent was on the play, right? Yeah. He has 3 cards in hand, right? 4.
Yeah, Brent was on the play. He made his second land drop first, and he had the turn 0 Leyline, which doesn't do anything.
Well, here we go with.
Oh, so we did have the Glistener Elf with a Rancor.
Tasty. That's a pretty sizable clock. If Brent does get a red, what he has 2 Spirit Guides, right?
He has 2 Spirit Guides in his hand.
Cast the Spirit Guide.
Does he have red sources in his deck to cast a Spirit Guide?
He has 2 Spirit Guides in his hand.
I know, but does he have a red? Oh, okay, so he could just cast a
Yeah.
Spirit Guide.
I mean, like Mark probably just has.
I mean,
pump spell to
his
go.
creature has trample
Yeah,
already.
and if Mark doesn't have a pump
Also,
spell, his
if
hand kind of sucks anyway.
He
so.
does cast Spirit Guide. Can he?
Go off.
Yeah.
ever?
Can he win?
No,
I don't
probably
think so.
not.
So, I think what he needs to draw is like.
I don't think there's any combination of cards that gets Brent out of this.
There's a combination of so he draws a black source, exile Summon Spirit Guides, cast Ad Nauseam into a white source that he can somehow play. I'm not sure how that happens. And then an Angel's Grace, and then also another Ad Nauseam and another Angel's Grace.
Well, it just kind of depends on how many pump spells.
Yeah,
Mark
he could just
has.
be dead right now.
Like Brent's on a 2-turn clock. 1 if Mark has become immense.
So this is for 1, 2,
Is
3,
that
4,
a Vines
5.
I see in his
Well, look
hand?
at I see a
Bladed
Blossoming
Agent,
Defense,
defense.
a Vines,
Yeah, he-
and then he can play Mutagenic Growth. So yeah, that is 9,
11 with some
and then we have a
moves.
Blossoming Defense,
Oh, that works.
which can't. And the creature couldn't be targeted anyway. So Mark Anliker takes game 1 with Bant Infect.
Mom's spaghetti.
We'll see if he Bant do it again.
What?
Can't do it again. I don't know.
Oh,
I tried to make a bad joke there. It didn't work.
that almost worked.
Like,
I feel
almost
like you
worked.
needed more context for the pun.
Probably. I don't know.
Do you think this will be over before 40 minutes?
It depends on how fast these players sideboard and if Brent can actually play Magic next game.
That's fair. What does I haven't played Ad Nauseam forever. What
I
do they
actually
bring in for
I have
Infect?
never played Ad Nauseam, so my
Your
guess
worst matchup is Infect.
my guess
I
because
imagine
it's
he has
just
like some number of Solemnity or something.
ooh
That's a pretty
ooh
annoying
Solemnity.
one to deal with.
Okay, I'm gonna look up Hindering Light real quick just to make sure that's not.
Please do.
I don't think it's something that he wants to bring in here. I think it like prevents damage and draws a card.
I'm really interested to know, actually.
Yeah,
I've
I would
never
love to
played
know
that
what
card.
Mark's sideboard is. I don't know. I mean, there's probably like the standard counter spells that blue-green infect would play.
Two things I know about Mark. He dresses very sharply and also plays a butt ton of really random cards.
Yes. Wait, so Hindering Light is a blue and a white for an
Give it to
instant.
me.
Counter target spell that targets you or a permanent you control. Draw a card.
For how much?
White and a blue.
That's really good, honestly.
So,
That's really
is
good.
that something he wants here?
I don't think it's something you want to be playing in Infect over Spell Pierce. or
Yeah, probably
something.
not.
I like the draw card a lot. I think it's a cool card. It's not bad, but it's not good.
So I play like various forms of blue-white X control right now on Modern, right now I'm on blue-white.
Yeah.
And Mark has been trying to get me to play Hindering Light in my board for like ever.
I think you should. I think you could get away with playing one.
I don't
It's
know
good
what I
value.
could. Like
What are
I
you
probably
playing in the board?
it probably like replaces like negate dispel. Like he says mainly it's good against burn because they target me with a burn spell and then I get to counter it and I also get to draw a card. I'd rather just have dispel.
I'd rather have the spell as well.
Yeah.
It's more.
So I don't know. Like the card's definitely good. I could definitely see worlds in
think
which it's good.
I think if you're playing like a weird Bant company deck, like the Vizier Nightfall deck, I'm a huge fan of, or just something along that lines, it's a lot better. Maybe in Jeskai. If you're just
Yeah, I
trying
could
to
see being good at
out-value
Jeskai
your
when
opponent.
you have permanents that you want to protect, like Spell Queller or protect yourself. You could counter. Could you counter the Liliana Edict? I need to figure that out.
Yes, it is target. Oh
No,
it's-
just spell.
Yeah, I thought it was spell or ability. If it was
No.
ability, holy crap!
So yeah, I'm not too familiar with an Ad Nauseam sideboard. Let me see if I can look one up.
Ad Nauseam sideboard usually plays like some number of darkness, which is like the really expensive fog, which will come in handy here.
Wait, Darkness is Modern legal?
Yes, I believe it's something.
Oh,
along those
Lord.
lines. Ad Nauseam sideboards are all over the place. They never make too much sense. It's just like flavor of the week, whatever the player.
I mean, they moved the ley lines to the main deck.
which is just good.
Yeah, I was playing Burn in the last SCG in Louisville, and my opponent starts off with just turn 1 ley line in round 1.
Ah,
Turn 0 ley line, round 1. Nothing's happened,
Alright,
and I'm just
here we
like,
go, game
oh,
two.
come on. I called a judge. I made sure there was ley line in his deck.
that's a fair judge call. It's a relatively new thing.
Yeah. 'Cause I didn't know they were doing that yet.
Alright, so Brent on the play here. Ideally, Brent will actually have a Lotus Bloom or some way to accelerate his mana for this
Yeah.
time.
That was, I think, the worst part about his
Yeah.
hand. So he has
I
the
do see
Pentad Prism,
That's
and there's an
great.
Ad Nauseam in his hand. And I
So
believe
we got
there's
Sleight
a
of Hand.
Sleight of Hand, and I think that's a
Lotus
Lotus Bloom.
Oh yeah, Brent's got this one, probably.
Well,
Knowing
I don't
Mark,
think he has
though-
does he have an Angel's Grace effect?
No, but I just assume within 1 or 2 turns. What is that white card in his hand? He'll be able to
I
find one.
don't know.
I really don't like burning the Sleight of Hand off the top here. Because you're
Why
not,
not?
doing anything until turn 3.
But he just wants to find that effect.
That's fair.
And he
but,
found one.
Is that Lightning Storm and something else?
Well, we don't want that in our hands.
What is that? Oh no, that was Angel's Grace.
If it was a red card, it was probably Lightning Storm.
So whenever I'm playing combo decks, I just like saving my cantrips until the last possible second. Just in case my opponent has some zany interaction. And it's different if I don't have anything I can sculpt my hand.
Oh, does he not have a second land?
Brent?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he did. Never mind. That
I didn't
changes a
really. Yeah,
lot.
that.
Dig away, Brent.
There's Ad Nauseam.
No. But saving cantrips is usually pretty useful.
Okay, so in this particular RPTQ winning Ad Nauseam list, there's a Beseiju, a Slaughter Pact,
I drank this on accident.
a Telerio West,
No.
2 Fatal Push, 2 Thoughtseize, an Echoing Truth, 3 Hercules Recall, and then, but this could be weird because this one has 4
What's
ley
this?
lines in the sideboard.
Yeah, I like Leyline main. a
Yeah,
lot
but
right
if he
now.
has some number of like things like Fatal Push, or even Echoing Truth, Slaughter Pact, that's definitely cards I would like here to make sure you don't die.
Right.
I like not dying.
You know what I like better than this?
What?
Protean Hulk combo.
I don't want to talk to you right now.
Haha! Well, the thing about Brent missing lands is I think he kept one on top, but he's not going off until the Lotus Bloom comes up.
Yeah,
anyways,
so he
but-
can play his land next turn, play his Pentad Prism,
Yep. Combo.
and then he's
off
gonna
if
have
alive.
1, 2, 3, 4, 7 mana.
I would be really surprised if Mark isn't able to kill him by then, or otherwise doesn't have a.
So Mark
supplemental
basically
permission.
needs to kill him in 2 turns,
Is very
or have an interaction for the ad nauseam. Well, so no, Mark needs to kill him this turn. Otherwise,
Why this turn?
because Brent's gonna untap and play Pentad Prism,
Yeah.
and then if Mark tries to kill him next turn, he at least play Angel's Grace.
That doesn't work the way you want it to.
Does Angel's Grace not work with Infect?
No, it does not. It prevents you from losing the game that turn.
You can't lose this game this turn, and your opponent can't win the game this turn until end of turn damage. Oh, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
This is me not playing a lot of Ad Nauseam. It's not a deck I'm that familiar with.
If it was like Burn or something, that'd be insane.
Well, yeah.
Especially with.
I've played a lot of Burn. That's why I thought Angel's Grace just saves you. But I don't know if that white card... Is that white card Silence?
I think if it is, that's really good.
Just,
Because how much mana will Brent have? Let me see.
so, Brett is not playing Protoplasm. He has Opt.
Oh, it's Holy Day.
Holy
I
Day?
think.
I don't know what that does.
Fog.
Oh, is it Fog? Does it work? Yeah, it does work with Infect.
Is just prevent all combat damage.
How much does it cost to cast?
1, I believe.
Holy...
I'm pretty sure the card in his hand is Holy Day.
If that card is Holy Day,
That's
why
tough.
did we not play the Pentad Prism? And then we just win next turn.
I was thinking the same thing because you have 3, 4, 5, 6.
I mean,
mana,
he
you just remove 1 counter from Pentad Prism.
I
Brent
believe-
might be opting to opt, but
Yeah.
that seems loose when you can just win the game. I'm a huge fan of like being a little greedy sometimes, but not in combo decks that are just trying to win on the spot.
Especially not against another combo deck.
Correct. Mark probably knows something is up here. I would be really surprised
yeah.
if he just tried to go for
Well-
the kill.
Mark may not, because Brent did miss a land drop.
Although I don't think Mark has any form of interaction in his hand.
So this is really good for Brent here. He's going to try to find a land. If he finds a land, he can win, even though he did not play the
Or
Pentad Prism.
Spirit Guide.
But it depends on whether or not Mark has a piece of interaction here, and he does not look like he
Gemstone
does.
Line.
Wait, what is that? Oh, that's a Simic Charm.
What's Simic Charm?
It gives a creature like +3/+3 and hexproof. It doesn't counter something, and he can't counter it. So I think Brent just wins.
If he goes for it. I think
Facts.
Brett... Well,
Target creature gets +3/+3. Permanent you control gain hexproof, or return or bounce a creature.
huh. That's interesting.
So yeah,
So-
I don't think he has a way to interact with this. So if Brent goes for it, he's gonna win.
Do you... I'm of half of mine to just wait until Mark goes for it.
I think that's what Brent's gonna do. He can wait. He can use his cards to try to find something like a Pact of Negation to protect the combo.
I like waiting 1 turn here.
Well, he can only wait 1 turn because he has that Holy Day, if that is a Holy Day.
Pretty sure it's a Holy Day. I have no idea what else it would be. I also don't know why Brent's holding on to that Pentad Prism.
Yeah, that's the... I want to develop my mana as much as I possibly can. I think he might be worried about, okay, if I play this Pentad Prism and it gets countered, then I'm going to die.
This is a case...
But
Oh,
either
yeah,
way,
well,
you're not really
be
beating a
careful.
counterspell.
I do remember playing... I think it was Brent once. There was an ad nauseam player here that just waited way too long to go off. And I really don't like...
Yeah,
Yes.
whenever I play combo decks, I'm just normally like obviously there's times when it's correct to wait,
I'm
but
kind of a huge fan of the pass, actually, the more I think about it. Just because if Pentad Prism does get, like, Spell Pierce or something, you're dead in the water. You
yeah,
have to
but
crack the bloom.
yeah,
If you don't hit another land, but I don't think it matters either way. We'll see. Mark has a ways to go here.
can we get how much infect is he at?
4, I believe.
Do we have? I thought we had infect counters for the stream.
We do, but God only knows no one ever uses them.
Okay, apparently they're not appearing on the screen for some reason, so we'll just keep track of it and remind you guys.
I think
So
we're
here's-
going to see a fog, if that is indeed.
If that is a holy day.
If it's not, then I don't know what it is, and I'm really confused. Holy Day? What is that?
If our
Blinding light?
stream runner could ask them what that card is,
Ren, help us out.
please.
Get wrecked, Mark. I don't know what happened, but...
Ethereal Haze.
What? Okay. I'm going to imagine it as something to do with being hazy and fog and everything. But... let's see it, Brent. Just windmill it. You don't care about Spell Pierce. Just do it.
Ethereal Haze. Okay, yeah, it's prevent all damage. Double. So it's a fog. It's an
Oh,
arcane fog.
There's so many fog effects.
There's a lot of fog effects, and I think Brent has another Ethereal Haze in his hand. So I think he's still just waiting.
Brent's being a little too ambitious. I don't
Well, he
think
can,
ambitious
like-
is the right word, but if Mark is indeed playing some form of interaction,
Yeah,
don't
that's the problem that I have with the line he's playing here, is because all lines he's taking are really bad against any counterspell, like Negate, Spell Pierce. And so, if all of my lines are really bad against a counterspell, why am I not just taking the line that's going to kill him? Ooh,
Right.
Viridian Corruptor. Oh, and Brent's going to get punished here. That's going to take out either the Pentad Prism or the Lotus Bloom.
It's not too punishing though, because Mark tapped. Well, actually, he didn't tap his mana, oddly. But Mark can't really do anything with blue Inkmoth Nexus. So
I mean, he's still been
Brent's gonna
leaving
go
Spell
for it.
Pierce up.
He needs to go for it.
I think there's a couple turns he's been needing to go for it. And
Should have gone for it last turn. Like
now,
he's being way too careful. Just windmills it.
oh, so he's just doing it now.
Yeah. I like that ad nauseam though. And the
Oh yeah,
Grace.
yeah. They're altered. Someone fancy food in the chat made sure we knew that. So thank you, fancy food.
Fancy food.
Yes.
Fancy feast.
No. Fancy food.
I eat cat food in my free time.
I really didn't need to know that. Oh, so now Mark's gonna get to look at the deck, and we're gonna get to look at the deck.
Is there anything spicy in here?
I have not seen anything spicy so far. He's playing Ops.
I do like Opt a lot. Oh. that's
Bantu's okay. There's the spice.
Hello.
Bantu's Reckoning.
Whew.
I mean, if you
Plus
have
10 million Scoville units.
if you
Got
have
me.
Lotus Petals and Pentad Prisms, or Lotus Blooms and Pentad Prisms, I mean, you don't care about your lands untapping if they're just
You
gonna.
really don't. If it's killing all your opponents.
Okay, now we're gonna see. Brent plays ad nauseam enough. He knows to not just chuck all his lands. But did Mark leave lands in his hand to try to get him?
Okay, there we go. Have you had that happen yet?
I have actually.
Oh,
I was playing blue
It's
white
the most
control,
satisfying thing ever.
and my opponent, I just left up a bunch of mana because I was hoping they were gonna play around the counter spells that don't matter because they have Pact of Negation, and my opponent casts.
Lightning Storm.
No, he casts Ad Nauseam. In response, I just Sphinx's Web for like 6 or 7.
And drew a ton of lands.
And I just drew like 5 lands in my... But like, we would be playing a pretty long game. He already had like...
Yeah.
He had to go off without artifacts.
Oh.
I had Stony Silence in play.
Yeah, that's pretty awkward.
And so he had like 7 lands in play already. And then he casts Lightning Storm. And he shows, like, he had like 13 lands in his hand or whatever. And he like reveals like 10 of them or something. I don't remember exactly how it worked out. And I just had enough lands to redirect it back at him. And he was just like,
yeah.
oh, okay.
Lightning Storm's
He still beat me.
interesting card. He won that turn?
Yeah, because he pacted the Lightning Storm.
Okay.
And then went off with Lab Maniac.
Oh. I thought you won the game because
No,
of that.
I did not.
I was saying,
it was really annoying.
It only happens like 10% of the time.
Yeah,
'cause
like it's the,
most people understand how to play the deck.
Yeah, most
but
players who like play Ad Nauseam a lot, like if if you play Ad Nauseam in Modern, that's probably the only deck you've played in Modern since you started playing Modern.
That's fair.
And so they know how to play Ad Nauseam.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've come up against someone playing Ad Nauseam who doesn't like really understand their deck.
For those of you that may not know, Ad Nauseam's normal win condition is a card called Lightning Storm, which basically says deal X plus 2 damage to a player, where X is the amount of lands you discard. But the catch is, there we go.
Yeah, this very confusing Cold Snap card.
It's such a...
It has a activated ability while it's on the stack that any player can activate and then change the target of Lightning Storm.
Yeah. So, if, let's say, Brent here discards all of the lands in his deck after drawing it out with Ad Nauseam, if Mark discards a land, he can redirect Lightning Storm back at Brent.
Now, what I want to know, is there a way that you can remove charge counters from a spell? Is there any card that does that?
I don't... That's just
There's probably not. And if there is, it's probably from like an unset. Or from Cold Snap itself.
If there is, it's probably not playable.
Probably not.
I can't think of many situations where there... I think, as Ren pointed out, Lightning Storm is the only spell that can have counters on it.
Yeah. Cold Snap at Future Sight. The unofficial black bordered unsets.
Does Mark have 8 cards in his hand?
I believe he accidentally drew 8 cards.
That's fine. Did he look at them all?
That's the real question. If he didn't look at them, then it doesn't matter. They can just put one back, and it's
Mark.
And he can, like, I think they would put one back and shuffle it back.
Cheaty.
If he had looked at them,
Mark gets thought seized, I believe.
so this is regular REL.
just
So
goes to 6.
what Scott would do, our head judge here, is probably just randomly take one out of his hand, shuffle it back into his deck.
Right.
In this case, they'll probably, if he hasn't seen them, they'll probably just put one of the cards on top of his deck. But in this case, it looks like they're going to shuffle them back in. Now, competitive REL, the person who has drawn 8 cards has a choice. They can let themselves be thought seized, or they can mulligan down to the next increment.
Is it that? I thought it
Yes.
was just instantly...
No, they changed that recently. It happened to my opponent at a PPTQ.
Huh. That's okay.
And he decided to keep and it's not Thoughtseize, like, it's not Thoughtseize. You can take lands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
But so if you draw 8 cards, you see one land, and you decide to let your opponent Thoughtseize you, no, it's not Thoughtseize. They can take that land. So be careful.
Probably elect to just not give them the information anyways in most cases.
My
Especially
opponent's
if
hand in
I'm
that
on
case was very
withdrawal or
repetitive. It was
something.
like he was playing blue-white approach in standard, and it was like we both mulliganed to 6. He saw like 3 lands, double search, double glimmer.
Ugh.
I just played turn 2 come and killed him.
Oh, okay.
So it worked.
Teamer's a pretty great deck.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited to be running that back this weekend. If I make it to the finals again, I'll try to do you prouder
please.
and not be bad.
Yeah, that was hard to watch.
You would have been really proud of me earlier in the day.
I was proud of you earlier today. I watched your second round feature match and was proud of you.
Gosh. All the way to the end. Alright, game 3. Bant Infect, Ad Nauseam. Do you
Who
think Mark
combos
did
first?
bring in permission?
I would hope so. I think that's his best
Mark's
way
a
to actually have
Spell
some
Pierce
way
guy.
to interact.
He has a scarf. He has to be playing Spell Pierce.
That's our qualification for if we're running Spell Pierce.
Have you ever seen
they wearing
somebody
a
that
scarf?
dresses well and sharply with glasses that doesn't play some form of blue? Let's go over blue players that wear glasses. Mark?
It's true. Well, Mark's... I don't know if I'd consider Mark a blue player.
Bluish players.
He-
People that
I'm not even
play
sure I'd
blue
consider
cards.
this a blue deck.
Alright,
It has
he's playing
blue.
Simic Charm, the one counter spell you're talking about.
I don't care.
Probably Spell Pierce. There's...
Mark Anliker is the resident innovator of Niapile, so I'm not considering him a
Triple-sleeved
blue... Yeah, triple
Niapile.
sleeved, almost all foil Niapile. But we'll see here. Mark's going to shock, and Brent...
Mark, Bernie win. Myself. Who else? Does Zach wear glasses ever?
Zach West does not wear glasses.
Never mind. He's not really a blue.
He's also
player,
not really blue, but he's more of a green mid-range ramp player.
Let me name more blue players. I feel like we don't have that many around here the more I think about it.
What you can't see is that I'm staring at John
Besides
through my glasses.
You. Besides you.
So we have a Blighted Agent here, which in this matchup is just a worse Glistener Elf. Unless
it can't
Brent
get through Simeon's
unless
Guide.
Brent is on the hardcast Simeon Spirit Guide plan. I don't think he's winning that game anyway.
Please don't be casting Serum Visions after that. No, Brent, that's a no.
Yeah,
no.
that's... I mean, either way, it's going to be a little awkward. Because you're either going to scry 2 than scry 1. I think I'd rather scry 1 than draw a card than scry 2. So if you know you're going to play those 2 cards, I like his sequencing.
With Ad Nauseam, you usually want to play Skylands before you Sleight of Hand.
But that's not Sleight of Hand. I agree with that.
If you play it before Serum Visions, you're essentially, like, let's say there is a card on top, you're going to draw it anyways, and then you get 2 other cards you get to see, and let's say you don't want either of those, the Skyland lets you see a 4th card, and then you can keep that, and then if you want to scry it to the bottom, you get to look at 5 cards.
But either way, one of those card draws is essentially random, and you're making one of those cards not random.
True, but you're also just wasting the Skyland, you know.
Are you?
Kind of.
I don't think you are.
So if you're gonna draw something anyways, what's the point in playing the
But what if
first?
So the top card of his deck is, say it's just card X.
Yeah.
If he wants card X and just plays Serum Visions, then it works out exactly the way you're saying. But if he doesn't want card X, then you want to play the Skyland. Like if he's looking for something
I see what you're
specific,
saying.
he wants to play the Skyland first because either way he's going to have a blind card draw.
Oh,
so
tasty Phyrexian on life.
And
I
that's a
think
lot
Brent's
better.
Dead.
Brent could very well just be dead.
Well, any combination of cards.
Phyrexian, but if Brent untaps, I'm pretty sure Mark's dead. So Mark, who's dead?
Do you have it? Let's see it. Do some math here.
I can't really see his hand. He has...
I see a mutagenic growth.
That's really good. Was that a Viridian Corruptor?
Needs.
I think that's a Viridian Corruptor that doesn't do anything here.
Is that just artifacts?
Yes, it's just artifacts.
Does Mark really not have the kill?
I mean, he can attack and then go for the kill. Now, does Brent have the Ethereal Haze? So here's Mutagenic Growth, so this is 4.
I hate... I love Modern so much, but this is the epitome of why I hate Modern. This is just going to come down to strictly who has it.
Here's a Vines, that's 8.
Brent does have the...
Oh, okay. And he has the Ad Nauseam, so this is... And
GG.
the way Mark had to tap for Vines, he had to leave no blue up. Oh, it drew the Lightning Storm. He would have drawn it anyway, because here, he's about to repeat something.
Tasty.
Ad Nauseam.
What color mana are we making, Brent?
I would go for black.
3 white? Okay.
Oh, this is Mark being Mark.
Mark
looking through the library, even though it doesn't matter.
You can hope Brent does something really dumb. That is one of the best outs in Magic the Gathering.
It's true. Now here's the real question. Does Brent even bother going for the Lightning Storm kill? I would just go for the Labman kill.
Would you?
What's he going to do?
Add insult to injury?
So you can just play Labman.
Labman,
like, what if...
Serum Visions.
I don't think there's a way he can mess up the Labman kill. There's a chance he messes up.
Oh, there are ways. I've watched people have me just dead in the water 5 different ways and go for the Labman kill to be cute, and then cast Sleight of Hand instead and use all their mana. Sleight of Hand does not draw you a card.
Sleight of Hand does not draw you a card.
It's like, thank you.
Alright, guys, so that was our Combolicious round 1 of Thursday Night Modern.
Please never use Combolicious again. While we're waiting for round 2 to come out, didn't Mark write some article? What was it?
Yeah, so if you go to topdeckproductions.com...
We have a website now.
Cuts out. I need...
Mic cut out? I
It
can't
did.
tell.
My mic cut out for a little bit. and I don't know the name of the article, but he wrote an article about his experience at the latest RPTQ.
Dealing with salt, quote unquote.
Yes. It's a problem I know that I have had some issue with in the past. Oh.
It's a pretty difficult mindset to change, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've been working on it real hard, how I view variance lately.
So something that I've noticed in my own personal game is I don't get over a tournament. I'm not that salty, but in like specific games, if my opponent just top decks and like it doesn't win them the game, but it like then puts us at parity where I still need to be playing correctly, it can still have some effect. I actually noticed that because of Hearthstone. There's a lot of variance in Hearthstone, and I noticed myself getting a lot of
variance.
Like earlier today, the new set just came out today, Kobolds and Catacombs.
Okay.
And so I've been playing a lot of Constructed today, just trying to test out new cards. And my opponent, my Tempo Rogue opponent, goes, turn 1, coin Kaliseth, Shadow Step Kaliseth, Shadow Step Kaliseth.
No, stop. Hearthstone's a little different.
Yeah, it's a little different,
Yeah.
but it's still just like, I noticed that, and then I just conceded. Like, there's nothing I can do. I didn't have a play till turn 3, and they just went swashbuckler into 4/4 patches.
I'm gonna puke. Is this the...
Yeah, this is the article, so it's called the... Oh, it just went away. The Blame Game, or How I Learned to Shed the Salt and Embrace the Entropy. That's a long title.
It's a mouthful. It's a really cool conversation topic, though.
But yeah, this is something that I have noticed a lot of players kind of ignore.
The mental aspect
of
Magic.
And there's, along with a couple articles on our site that deal with like the mental aspect, I know there's one... I don't remember who's been writing for Channel Fireball recently.
I don't either, to be honest.
They have
I love
played
Magic
a lot
articles,
of...
But
there's one guy who wrote a lot of articles about the mental game specifically.
One of the biggest keys to improving at anything, really, I'd say, is realizing a lot of Magic players have egos.
Oh, yes.
Something people need to remember is that this is an inherently variance-based game where you can leverage skill, but there's always new things to learn.
Yeah, and that's what I love about it. Like,
better. And
when
learning
someone
to be objective about variance is really important.
Yeah, when
too.
someone who has not played the game as long as you, now they still might be better, but even though they could just kick your ass.
Yeah.
Like, there was an SCGB in Columbus where I played against, this was like Eldritch Moon release weekend or something. I played against the youngest Kiefer.
Jack?
No, I think it's Quinn.
Quinn?
I don't know.
I know.
Anyway,
Jack Kiefer.
I mean, I still think he's probably better than me at Magic. I think he's vastly underrated. I think he's really good.
I think there are a lot of very, very underrated Magic players around.
But anyway, he just goes, he's playing Blue-White Spirits, and he's going to turn 1 Mausoleum Wanderer, turn 2 double Mausoleum Wanderer. I look at my double Languish hand to realize nothing's going to resolve. But it's still just like...
That's just gross.
Like, that's gross, and like, obviously that's just variance, but it's like, I was fine with that. It's like...
Yeah.
This is before, like, the Kiefer brothers were, like, known that well. So I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I wasn't probably going to make day 2 anyway.
Is Mark juggling on stream currently?
He is juggling on
that
stream.
Seems dangerous. Oh my gosh.
Please don't hit our electronical equipment.
Alright.
Yeah, so that's going to be end of round 1 here, guys. We will see you back for round 2 in around about 20 minutes, hopefully.